Okay, so what we're going to look at first is exercise 1A, and Luke got, what did you say the answer that you got, Luke? 1164.10. Okay, let's see what we can do here. If I can put it where it'll record. 1164.10 is what you got. Okay, let's go down with the problem. And we've got A equals 3 and B equals 4, right? And C equals 10. All right, so we're going to go up and change these each time. So it says while A is less than C. Well, right now, A is 3, C is 10. So we would set A equal to A plus 2. So that would make the second time, it's going to be 5, right? Okay, and B, what did I do? There it is. And B is going to be equal to what? 6, right? 8. Does it? Oh, times 2, not plus 2. Okay, so it's going to be 8. Okay, so next we're not at the end of the while yet. So we go back up. Now A is 5. Is 5 less than 10? Yes. So we're going to add 2 again. So now A is 7 and B is 8. Is it 8 times 2? Yes, 16. So that's 16. All right, so now we test it again. Is A less than C? A 7? Yes. So now A is going to be 9. And B is 16 times 2, 32. Right? And so now we test it again. Is A less than C? Oh, I keep moving my... yes. So we're going to do it one more time. And so now A is 11, right? And B is 64. Okay, so now we test our while loop again. Is A less than C? No, A's 11, so it's no longer, so we drop to the end while. And maybe this is what... Luke, how did you get 11.4? Because here all it's wanting you to do is output. So A would be 11. Oops. So down here, what we would actually output at the end of this program or pseudocode would be 11, 6. Oh, that's what you said. I put it like, yeah, you are correct. 11, 64, and 10. I see what you're saying. I thought you were saying it was that total amount. So you were exactly right, Luke.
So with our final answer, you don't want the last number to be, or would you?
Yeah, because it only wants you to output A, B, and C, what they are at the end. What's that? Right. Right. Well, let's see. The second problem, the only thing that you output is whatever it says after output, and whatever at that point in the pseudocode, whatever those variables are, that's what you output.
Okay, because I actually when I download my
Yeah, because you are correct, because that inside each while loop on E has output, which is the same as print. And also on D, it has you output X, but you notice X is in quotes, so it's not going to put the value of X. It's just going to put an X there. Same way over on F, it's just going to output Y and output Z each time. So if you want to see, to make sure you did them all correctly, let me go over here where I've got them, and I can, there they are, CIT solutions. This is chapter 4. Okay, it should be right here. All right, so these exercises, let me do this. File, new blank document. Save as. Chapter 4-1. Exercises. Uh-oh. Then you can go through and check all of yours. Make sure. Oh. Okay, let me drag that over to. This is this one. Okay, so where was that at? Continue with steps 4 through 7. I'll just put it right there. Okay, so there, as soon as that syncs there, you should have that all of those A through F, the answers, so that way you can check if you got the right one or not. Okay, and if you still have a question on Tuesday, one of them you don't see how they got that answer, let me know. Okay. All right. So David, you said you did 2.
Yeah,
That was.
I don't know if it's actually correct.
Okay, who else was able to get through 2? Anybody else get through 2? You did, Nick? Okay. All right, let's see what we've got. Because before we finish with 4 loops, oh, I think I have that up here anyways. Yeah, I already have that anyway. Shared with me on Google. What happened here? Okay, this class is 8056, I think. Yeah, okay, David's. Yours is chapter 4, 1 and 2. Okay, now you just did pseudocode, right? Is that what's in there? Because that's all that was required, pseudocode of flowchart. Okay, so what we want to do is, once we look at this, is go ahead and put it in. I'm going to open. Yeah, let's see. We're going to copy this into. I'm going to do to make it a little easier is copy it into. Oh, what's that? Sign in. Why is that? Continue. Okay, so I'm going to take this program while it's opening up here. No, I don't want the tour. Maybe it'll let me end it right here. Yeah, there we go, maybe. No. Next, next. Want to show me how to work the new one. Done. Okay. So let's see if I can find. Oh, it opened a new version. That's what my problem is. Open one of them that we had. Fall 14. Okay, where is 2? I'll just open one of these. Oh, I shouldn't have done my new version. There's the code. Oh, it's running right in there. Come on, I just want the code. Come on. Okay, so I'm going to take yours, which was in your pseudocode here. Where did it go? Document 1, maybe that's it. Nope. Thought I had it open. Oh, it's in Google, isn't it? Okay, so I'm going to copy your pseudocode in there because that'll be the easiest for us to tell what we're doing. And this would actually, I'm going to do it this way. Asterisk down to, here is asterisk slash. Okay, so let's see what we've got on, and this isn't even too big. I should have done something here. Differences. Fonts to maybe 20, here to maybe 20, apply. There we go. All right. So in his pseudocode here, and it's kind of spread it out. Well, first of all, the problem was to design the logic for a program that outputs every number from 0 through 8. And I think we did 3 in class, didn't we? Started to, but we didn't get it finished. Okay. So let's see how David's logic goes. He initialized a variable count and a constant max to 8 and set count equal to 0 and started into his loop. While count is less than or equal to max, yeah, because it says from 0 through 8. Output number and the value of count, then increment count by 1, end while, and then you're at the, that's really all you have to do. You can put stop if you want. All right, so let's start. The JavaScript for that would say var count, and we could actually set it equal to 0 here, but I know our logic has been where the for loop starts to do it there. And var max equals 8. So while loop. So did we look at any while loops that had already been done in JavaScript so we know exactly how to code it? I think we did. It seems like we looked at one. But you can, let's see where I have those examples. I thought I put a chapter 4 one in here. Oh, I know where they are. Chapter 4 examples. Okay, here was, this is probably it. Open with this one. Yeah, here's one that is just without using the max. So let's go down and we'll say var max equals 8. And then I'll make this say while max less than or equal to max document.writeLine number, and then increment. Okay, here is something that you can do in JavaScript. It's called an increment, where you don't have to say number equals. That's the same as saying number equals number plus 1. You can do it either way. Oops, but you don't want it caps. I did that wrong. No caps. And I'll put these in for y'all to look at. But you see how the while loop is kind of like an if statement, because remember your if comparison has to be in parentheses, right? So in a while loop in JavaScript, it still has to be in parentheses. And then what you do in the body of the while loop is in brackets. And that's also the end while. So you don't have to have anything after it. So if we run this, and y'all see, if you wanted to decrement, you would just put minus minus. So in JavaScript, Java, I believe it's the same way with C#. I know C+. You could do plus plus if you want to increment. It's just a shortcut way of saying number equals number plus 1. But if you put it like this, that will work also. So whichever makes more sense. Okay, I'm going to save this to that one Google Drive so that y'all will have it. Because I think I shared it. No, I'll just what's this week? CIT examples by week, and this one is a new folder. 8-4. Create. Save it there. No. All right. So if we run this one, oh, my Dreamweaver's changed. Where's my? There it is. Okay, so I'm going to preview in Google Chrome, and there you can see that it did print it out. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? So you have to be sure. The biggest thing with your while loops is that you are sure that your comparison is correct. Because if you had have just put less than 8, it would not have included 8, right? So you have to be sure and read the problem. So now, what do we need to do to this to make it work for number 3? Design the logic for a program that outputs every number from 0 through 8 along with its square and cube. So what would I need to do? Do I change my while loop at all? Do I need to change my while loop for number 3? Because it says design the logic for a program that outputs every number from 0 through 8 along with its square and cube.
You have to have a loop, a nested loop.
Are you sure?
No, I'm not sure. No, you can just change the equation. Change
what do I change, Nick? What?
I just told you 8.
That's all right. You know, okay, so what we're doing right here, it printed them out. It printed every number out 0 through 8. Right? So what do we need to add to that? Number times number, do the square, wouldn't it? So, and then number times number times number would do the cube, right? So where do I need to put that in my logic? Do I put it above the while loop? Within. Good. Because all I'm wanting to do is write it out again before I increment it. So once I write the number, and I may want to go up here and make a break, right? So that I can kind of separate these. This is just so my output will look a little better, right? So I'm going to put here, comma, BR. And then I'm going to put, okay, so I need to do my calculations like you said. So this way it would be square. Maybe I need 2 more variables, right? So I need to figure the square and the cube. I'll just call it SQ instead of spelling out square. If I can find Q on my keyboard this morning, Q equals, and I'll go ahead and say it started out with 0. And the other one I need to calculate is var cube equals 0. All right, so down here I'm going to say square is equal to, what did you tell me?
Number times number.
Number times number. Okay, so then I'd need another document.writeLine. Oops, not there. Don't want it there. I want it after. Plan B. This would be SQ. Okay, does everyone follow what we're doing here? Ask a question if you don't. Do you see what we're doing? Okay, so here I can copy this and this. Yes. Can you see it from there or no?
I can see it. I just want to.
Oh, yeah, I'll post all. Yes, we will. In fact, sure.
Instead of creating the square and cube variables, could you just have the number square or cube and have it announce the, like, put the function in square?
Oh, yes. Yes, there's a function. Is that what you're saying? Use the, yes, there's a function for square and there's a function for cube is what he's saying. So, did you look that up? Do you know how to print it out? I think I have it over here again. Let's look. This was number 2. Let me see if I have it already. No, I did it this way. Okay, this is one way to do it. So this one, I calculated the square, calculated the cube, and then I wrote number, square, cube instead of having 3 document.write lines, right? And what Luke is saying, there's a function in JavaScript, in Java, that will calculate the square, and I think it's called SQ. Let me go over to, but just to see this one run first, let's look at this and make sure it works. Okay, so it's a little hard to read, but there it printed out the number, the square and the cube, number, square and the cube, number 2, the square of 2 is 4, cube of 2 is 8. And see, there should be spaces between it because it makes it look like one big digit, right? But that's the output to that problem, okay? So now if I go over to, which this is going to be important to you in languages to know, because we're going to talk about functions here soon, and we haven't done, we haven't talked about the, what was the other one that we were using? The function for output that would output 2 decimals. So if I go to W3 schools and JavaScript, and I look at just functions, function, my function, that's where you create one. Should have, oh, I probably should have looked at reference instead. HTML, JavaScript reference here. JavaScript. Forget where we get those. There's a good way to find them. That's easier than that. Just a second. Let me see. JavaScript. Functions. Let me see if it'll let me Google it. Oh, there it says. So maybe under functions, web cheat sheet. Maybe that's it. Defining. Trying to find the ones that are already there. Invoking functions. Somewhere there's a place where they're all defined. The ones that you put. JavaScript numbers. Property, number, methods. There they are. There's 2 fixed. This is the one that I was telling you, if you want it to have a certain number of decimal points, you just put 2 fixed and however many decimal points in the place of the X. And like if when I had one that had a real long numeric, then I could put 2 fixed. They're called methods. Okay, that's what I need to say is script predefined core objects, built-in functions. There we go. 2 precision, Boolean, 2 string value method. Length match. I thought it was 2 string, 2. You can turn everything to lowercase real easy. Array methods, date methods. Method, here we go. Cell, floor, log, max, min, power. Oh, that's what it's called. It's not square or cube. You do the power, returns the base to the exponent power. That is base component. There's a square root, round. So if I go back to my Dreamweaver, and if I wanted to see how to do this, square equals POW of number, which in square, you know, there's not much to it, but if you wanted to know, wait just a second, that's not going to be right. Hold on, because I got to tell it how many, it's not of number, it's the power of 2. I forget how to use it. Hold on just a sec. Wait till I get it made right, and then I'll show you. It should show us right here. This method returns the basic, that is base exponent. Make my screen bigger so you can see what it says. Okay, that's how you do it. Math.pow 7,2. First is the test value plus the value. Second is the test value. First test value 49. Second test value. Okay, so they did 49. Third test values. Try it yourself. Okay. So here it's saying variable value math.pow to the 7th power 2 to the 7 times 7 is 49. Oh yeah, okay, that's it. 7, that's the power, and that's the number that you want it to take to. So let me go here. So this would say math.pow does it show you? Yeah, look, it has it in here. Pow base and then the exponent. Okay, so here it would say number, comma, to the 2nd power. So this one would be, if this works, I'll leave it up there. Math.pow should be number, comma, 3. Then it would be number square cube. Okay, so let me see if this works. File, save. Oh, I shouldn't have saved it that way until I renamed it. There it is. So it does work. So I will put this one also, those problems. I really should have saved. Let me go back here. I think it saved it as with the powers. Does anybody have any questions about this? You guys don't, Alec, you got it? Okay. Enrique, do you see what we're doing? You sure? No? Ask questions. Come on. Okay, so it would not be incorrect if you don't understand that using that function, you could still say square equals number times number. You understand that's what the problem's asking for, right? Square. What's your name? I forgot your name. What? Oh, your name also. Okay. So do you see what we're doing here? Okay, do you guys ask? You think so? Okay. Because this is a time to ask. And then you'll, instead of when you get by yourself and you can't get it. So this one, what would this one be? Number, what's it? if I'm doing cube, instead of doing math.pal, it'd be number. Okay, cube means, what's the cube of a number? How many times? 3. So you can't say that number times 3, right? You've got to say whatever that number is times number. Okay. Times number. Good. There we go. So if the function right here doesn't make sense to you, that's okay. That's JavaScript. You can still do it this way in your pseudocode, all right? So I had on this one, was this the other one that we were working out like that? Okay, so I'll put both of these over there. Oops, not number. Number times number times number. Okay, so it would, and then it would increment, but it also needs to output the next one, which would be, oops, not that. Only this one would be cube. Let's see what this problem puts out, okay? So if this one, I say file, save as, let's call this, oops, CA4-2A. Let's just say, yeah, that's our first one, save. Was that the third time?
No, that's, oh, sorry.
Oh, it is problem number 3, isn't it? You are right. Okay, let's be file, save as, that was not right. Problem number 3A. So I don't confuse y'all anymore. Okay, so in this one, if I come up here, look at it, where you can see it. Okay, it printed the same thing out, but because of those breaks in there, you can tell they're individual numbers. So the first one printed out 3 rows, then 3 ones. Robert, you got it right? You understand? Okay. 2, 4, 8, 3, 9, 27, 4, 16, 64, 5, 25, 125. Because this is going to be 25 times 25 is 125, 6, 36, 216. Okay. So there was one way to do it. Let me put these in Evernote too. Let me go over here. I think I shared that whole folder with you all, but I'll just to make sure, I'll put them in Evernote. Oops, where is that? Must be over in. Okay. Oh, I'm still in spring. There we go. Fall, CIT, examples by week, week chapter 8. All right, so this one actually I need to move to trash because it's the same one. All right, so this is the number 3 problem in HTML. Oh, it created a zip. I've never seen it do that. Oh, I see why it did that, because I did the whole folder. Okay, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted this up there. Okay, so there's number 3. Here's number 1 in HTML. That actually was number 2, I think. Let me see. I think that was number 2. Let me see. But I named it wrong. Okay, examples by week, chapter 8. Okay, this one. Yeah, that's actually number 2. I named it incorrectly. So this should be file, save as, it's week 8, number We didn't really do the pseudocode for any of those. We could do some of these are all pseudocodes too. Okay, these are the first ones that are, you know, these are pretty straightforward because you can't do the second part of chapter 8 unless you get these 2 through 5. So let's try 4 and 5 and see how we do. Now, some of you guys that aren't real sure, it's okay if you don't get it right. I'm not gonna. I want you to see if you can, you know, if you can work it through. So, any questions about this before we leave this? Okay, so I'm gonna leave this here, and we're gonna go into the pseudocode for another one. Okay, let's look at number 4. Did anybody just do number 4 just for the heck of it? Because it wasn't assigned. Okay, so let's see if we can get it. This one says, design the logic for a program that outputs every even number from 2 through 20. So how is this one going to be different than number 2? Number 2, you output every number, 0 to 8, right? Plus 2. So you could almost use what's in A, number 1, is kind of like with leaving the B out, if you wanted to, right? Because it's plus 2. So it's be similar to that. So if we're doing the pseudocode, it'd say var num, let's just say num because that's shorter. And that's the number that we're going to be printing out. Do we have to have any other variables? We could do, like David did, a constant, right? So we could say var max equals, does it say including 20? It says through 20, right? So would that include 20, you think, or not?
I would assume it would
To include 20. So we will say max equals 20, and that's going to determine how our condition's going to be. So our while loop would say, somebody give me the while loop.
while, let's see, num is less than equal to max.
Num is less than or equal to max. Okay, everybody agree with that? Anybody see different? Now, if I said, I could turn it around and say, let's see, while num, I could say, while num is less than or equal, is there another way to say it? While num is less than or equal to max. Yeah, I could switch it. I could say, while max is greater than num, and I could decrement, right? But we usually don't think in minuses, in decreasing. Now, my dad, he was an accountant, and he thought subtraction was easier than addition. I told him, I don't know where you got that, because he dealt in debits. So he said it was easier to do subtraction, but it's usually easier to think in addition. Okay, so while num is, excuse me, less than or equal to max, what do we want to do during that time? What's the first one that we have to output? If we initialize, look, what am I missing up here? What do I have to do before the while? Right, set num equal to something, right? Num equal to, do I want to start it with 2, or do I want to, if I print it first, otherwise I'll add 2. Okay, so we'll start it with, there's a couple ways you could do it, but let's say we start it with 2. Num equals 2. So down here, while num is less than or equal to max, then I want to output num first, right? Because I need to output it as 2. So because it says to output from 2 through 20. Okay, what do I do next? Right, num equals num plus 2. Right? Okay, so now do I need to output in, or is that all I need in my loop? End while, right? End while. Oops, not there. I'll say end while. Okay, so everybody agree they think this will work? Think this pseudocode will work? Okay, so I'm going to put it in, in JavaScript, although you don't always have to, but I think it's good practice. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to rename this so that I don't write over that. Save as, this is going to be chapter 4-4. Save. What's that? Yeah, did I put that? Chapter 4-4, isn't that what I named it? Chapter 4-4. So it's chapter 4, problem 4, right? Is that what you were saying? Yeah. Okay. All right, so here is, so I'm going to take this one. Oops, let me go over here. And I'm going to copy this pseudocode. I think I did copy it, but I wasn't sure. And do Command V. Okay, so I'm going to make this all my comments here first. Comment. And so I have at the top, all I'm doing here is I'm putting the pseudocode in the top of my JavaScript, so I don't have to flip back and forth. So to do a multi-line comment, and I'm sure you probably can't see that at the back because it's so grayed out, but to do a multi-line comment, if I do /*, and wherever I want the comment to end, I'm doing */, okay? So that's why it's grayed out, is because the browser's not going to look at that. So now I can start with my JavaScript. So I'd say var num, and then I say var max equals 20. If any of you do anything a little different and you're not sure, just ask and we'll make sure that that's okay. Oops. Because everybody thinks it through a little bit differently. So we're setting, you remember in a loop, there's 3 things you have to do. You always have to initialize your counter before you enter the loop. Then you've got the actual condition of the loop. And then at the bottom of the loop, you always have to make sure that you're altering the count, or else you stay in the loop, right? So here we did the first part, we initialized. Now, while num is what?
Num is less than or equal to max.
Less than or equal to max, just like our pseudocode said. Only difference is I have to be sure and put my parentheses around it, which I did do that also. And then instead of output, how do I say output in JavaScript? Okay, document dot write line. Oh, yes.
Okay.
It won't take it. If it's a reserved word by the dot write line, and then I'm going to put what is this called? Number. I can just say number colon. I'm just labeling it. You don't have to. And it is num, right? And the next thing I have to do is increment, which is the third part of my while loop. That has to be done every time. And what did I forget up here in JavaScript? A little squigglies. Okay, so this one has to have a closing squiggly. All right, so this should be problem number 4. Anybody have any questions about it? We'll run it, see if it works. Enrique, you okay with it? You sure? Okay, ask a question if you need. Okay. Number, and it didn't put any breaks in there, but it is correct, right?
Yeah.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20.
Now, if you wanted to put a break in there, would you put it in between the quotation from known or at the end of it?
You put it at the end right here because we want it to break at the end of the line. So I'm going to go up here and add that. Var, oops, not there. Want it. I could add it there and it'd be fine, but I like to keep my variables together. Just makes more sense. But it would not be incorrect if it was. Oops. Okay, so if I say file, oh, let me turn that off. File, save. Let's see. File, oops, file. Oh, I can just say save on that one. Okay. Oh, I didn't put my semicolon there. Okay, so here we go. Google Chrome. Save. There we go. Looks a little better, right? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Okay, anybody have any questions about that one? Okay, let's post that one over there. That was 4-4. Oops. Get it where I can see where I'm doing that. Okay. All right, so we got one more that we can do before we get to the hard stuff. All right. And we'll try to do the pseudocode. I forget which one I assigned 7, right? Oh, actually, we could do 5 and 6. So if we don't get both of them done, we'll put one of them out there anyway, the other one out there. Okay, so on this one, pseudocode, let's see, I'm going to put that this is CH4-4. Oops, my mouse goes screwball on. Oh. Okay, this one be CH4-5, right? And what is different? Design the logic for a program that outputs numbers in reverse order from 8 down to 0. Okay, so this one is going to be like number 1, but opposite.
Yeah.
So what do I need to do? Let's copy, where was number 1? Let me go back to untitled one. I think it was this one. Didn't I copy the pseudocode in one of them somewhere? Thought I did. I guess not. Nope. All right. So this was, well, this was number 1 anyway. This one worked. None of these did. Okay, here was number 1. Oops. Document 1. Document. I can't find the right one. There it is. Okay, so this was the pseudocode for number 1, and it's sure not formatted, is it? Okay, and this needs to go down here. All right, so this was the JavaScript for problem number 1. So how are we going to change it? What do we need to do?
I would have to guess. Greater than equal to.
Okay, so what we want to be sure to happen is we want to start with number 8, right?
So we'd have to actually put number equals 8, and you put change max to min.
Uh-huh.
Zero.
Okay, to min, make it 0. All right, so, and this would say as long as number is greater than min, would that work? What would it say? Number, the first time through, number is greater than min, would it need to say greater than or equal to? Because we want to print out 0, right?
Yeah.
So we probably need to say greater than or equal to 0. Oops, equal to 0. So we'd say document.WriteLine. So the first time through, number's 8. So it's going to print 8. Then it's going to, what do I need to do here?
Change the plus to minus.
Right. And this would say equal number minus 1 if I wanted another comment. So here it would come down and subtract 1 from number. So if number was 8, it would be 7. So while number is greater than or equal to min, it still is greater than or equal to min, right? So document.WriteLine would print 7. Do you see, Nick? Okay. And Nick? Okay, so it's the same thing, only we're just going backwards. Did anybody think of it differently? Anybody think of some way? Was that, did everybody kind of, did that work for you? Let me go and put it in a new program. Let's make this one file, save as, this is chapter 4 dash, make me get the numbers right, 5. Save. And now I'm going to say, oops, paste maybe. Yeah, just put spaces in there. Variable number equals 8. Variable min equals 0. While number is greater than or equal to min. Let's take these out. So we have our initialize. We're initializing our loop right here. Variable number equals 8. Then we're doing a comparison, and then we're decrementing our variable there. And all this that I'm doing is not necessary. It just, to me, makes it more readable. Okay. When I get them lined up certain ways, it'll work without doing that. Okay, so I'm going to say File, Save. Come down here in Google Chrome. And let's see. It did do it backwards. There again, if I want to put the break in, I can go in and do that, right? So it said 876543210. Everybody? All right. Now you see in these problems that we're having to use all of the logic that we've learned up to this point. Where is there an instance of my if then else and does it say if then else? Don't have to do a comparison at the beginning of every loop. So I have a decision box. If I was looking at a flow chart, I would have a diamond shape in every loop, just like I do with an if then else. So that's why selection was important. I had to learn selection. I had to learn sequence, because where's sequence at? Right, it's my sequence is in the body. I'm sequentially executing document.WriteLine subnumber and then number decrement. So those are sequential statements. So the structure is those are in a rectangle box, right? Because they're sequential statements that are executing straight down my program. But now I'm doing looping, which is repetition, right? So I've already learned every structure that I need to know in order to write any kind of program or solve any kind of logical problem. I may use a combination of them, but you see why all three of those by the end of the semester, I can solve anything because I understand loops, I understand selection, and I understand sequential. Okay? So let's go to problem number 6 then. Design the logic for a program that allows a user to enter a number and display the sum of every number from 1 through the entered number. Okay, so what do I no longer have that I have here? Right, it's not a definite loop, right? Because it's not telling me in the beginning how many iterations of the loop that I'm going to go through. Like this one, I knew I was going to go through it 8 times, 0 through 8. That's actually 9 times, isn't it? So I was going to go through it 9 times. But now I don't know. It's up to the user how many times I'm going to go through the loop. So that's called a sentinel controlled loop. Right? Remember we learned those in the beginning of the chapter, or not the beginning. We learned that we haven't gotten to for loops yet, but we did learn a sentinel controlled loop. Let's see. Neglecting to alter. Let's see, where was that at? This one was counter controlled on the parts where we did the quiz. Okay, let's see. Oh, the next part was using a for loop, but we did do a sentinel value. Where did we do that? It's at the very beginning. Using nested, the loop can.
Page 123 is where sentinel value.
Oh yeah, there it is, sentinel value. Okay. Because on this one, we tested while should continue equals y, output hello. So that was the example that they gave us in the chapter. Well, here, sum of every number through the entered number. So the value that we're going to check against is when the number of times we went through is the number of times that the user tells us to go through. Okay, so I'm going to look at, because we're running short of time, let's go over to our solutions in pseudocode for, for this one. Oh, and I think I already had that open. I did. Somewhere up here is solutions. Okay, so we're going to look at number 5, which should be, that's 4. There's 5. Let me go here and view at 200%. Okay, this one is to design the logic for a program and the outputs. No, that was 5. 6. Here's 6. Okay, so here's what we want to do. Here's the flow chart for it. Here's the pseudocode like we've been writing. Num number, set num x equal to 1. Why are they using x? Okay, num x equals 1. Oh, they're saying, they're using their counter as x. They're setting a counter, so you could call it count or x, whatever you wanted to do. So output, enter a number. So you ask for the number. And how do we ask for the number in JavaScript? Prompt. So you ask for the number, and while x, which we set x equal to 1, because it says in the problem to display the sum of every number from 1. So it says to start with the number 1, right? Not 0. So they set a variable of x, and you could call that count, you could call it whatever you want. X is really not a very good name for it, I don't think. Is equal to 1. So let me take this problem. Let me save this one as a PDF. Hold on just a second. think it'll make me save it as a PDF for you to be able to see it. Copy, file, new. I thought it put it all on one line. I'm not going to put this part, and then it should put it all on one page. Let's see. Yeah, it did. Okay, file, save as. I'm going to save it as a PDF, and then it should let you see it. Oh, for chapter 4, number 6. Okay. Okay, so if I go over here, so you can have that. Number 5, 6. Okay, so if we we'll be able to get that done. If we were going to put in now, the one, there's only one thing that's different is where your comparison. So in our comparison, it says while x less than or put going to document x number because it says one and add the number and then as long as x is equal to x plus 1 and y. Here, where's our test? X has to be less than or equal to a number. So never go up here again and ask for another number, right? So it's going to enter as many times. So let's try, let's see if we can get this and try it real quick. I don't need anything but that. I'm going to go to Dreamweaver. I'll save as, this is number 6. So on this one, it's going to say var number, var, and I need to redo it. Then I'll say document.writeLine. Actually, I'm just going to do a prompt. So this one is going to be number equals prompt. Enter a number, comma, 0. Oops. Oh yeah, I have to do this. This won't work. If you copy the quotes in, that'll give you a problem. Okay, so now I don't need this statement, right? So now while x is less than or equal to number, so I got to put this in parentheses, parentheses. This has to be, output has to be document.writeLine. And I can actually do the sum right there if I want to, but I really need to have it above there, don't I? Command X. So I need to have another variable, sum equals X plus number. Or sum. Okay, document.writeLine sum each time, right? And then I increment that. So I need my opening curly here and my closing one here. Okay, let's see if that'll work. Some, it's going to write it out. I don't know how many times. Let's see, 5. Boom, boom. Oops, it's saying something's wrong. Oh. All right, so let's see what happens. File, run, Google Chrome, save, yes. Enter a number, let's say I enter 5. So it read 15, 25, 35, 45, 5. So it went through the loop 5 times, right? So, and it should be adding and not multiplying. Was it adding? Sum equals X. So the first time would be 1 plus 5. So it should be 6, right? What is number? Because I put 5. What did it print out? Printed 15. How did it get 15? Is that right? I don't think that's right. Because if this is 1, as long as 1 is less than or equal to number, sum is equal to 1 plus, oh, I bet it's because I didn't say number equals number times 1, right? Let's see if that does it. If it doesn't, we got to go and I'll fix it. So this time, 5. There it is. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's because I didn't convert that to number. Okay, so y'all are free to go. I'll save this and put this one in too. Save as, that is number 6. Okay.
This stuff is actually more fun than the first stuff we started doing.
Yeah, it's good. You can do more with it, right? It's
Do
like,
more with less, actually.
yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm telling you, you'll have real fun with 7. It'll be really fun because it's like a real problem. You know, Honest Ralph's car place.